in some cases, they're still going to be charged up. They may want to throw a few arrows at you just to make sure that it's really safe. And you don't have to let yourself get hit by the arrows, but maintain that commitment to peace and tranquility and connection and love again. So how do you break the stalemate with your partner when you get into an argument? This can be a tricky one. And it requires a couple of things: humility, patience, and deciding that you care more about connection than being right or winning. Now, let's be honest with ourselves. We get into an argument with somebody, and 99 times out of 100, we're in an argument because we think that we're right and because we want to be right. It's that part of ourselves that feels safe, that feels comfortable when the other person says, you know what, you're right, I was wrong. There's like that momentary satisfaction that we're hoping that we're going to get. But when you're in a relationship with your partner, we know that sometimes we get in that stalemate. Nobody's going to budge. Becomes a pride thing, becomes an ego thing. So when you're in this situation with your partner, what do? I decided to record this video today because it's happening right now. It happened today with me and my wife. We had an argument about the cars, right? It's always something silly. Who's going to take which car? And it's something that we've argued about before, but today I just wasn't going to budge on it. I needed to let her know how messed up it was that she was going to take the car that had more space when I was the one watching the kids. And so we got into an argument. She's getting ready to walk out the door. She's frustrated about a whole bunch of other things. And I decided that I'm not going to budge on this one. So, of course, it yielded an argument. And I'm sure you can take any circumstance or situation in your life, in your relationship where you've been in this scenario. So pick one and then apply it to this. She goes up the driveway. I know she's pissed. I'm feeling pissed in my body. And after a couple minutes of some space, I start to get clarity again. And I remember, this isn't about me winning. The most important thing to me actually isn't winning. The most important thing to me is connection and love between my wife and I. That doesn't mean that I need to just let this whole thing blow over, but I can be differently in that conflict, that communication with her that I wasn't, that I failed to up to that point. So how did I break the stalemate? I reached out to her and I decided I was going to wave the white flag first. I decided that I was going to take the first step. And this is the key, because when we're all charged up in our ego, you know what I'm talking about. The last thing that you want to do is say, hey, you know what? I didn't approach that very well. So that first step is personal accountability. And it's got to be honest too, right? I knew that I didn't communicate that very well to her. I didn't communicate it at a time where she could really listen to it. We weren't going to be able to have a conversation about it. I knew she was heading out the door. So my timing was bad. My approach was bad. My context was bad. And I owned that. I sent her a message. I said, hey, honey, first of all, thank you for everything that you're doing for our family. I know you're running out the door so you can go do errands and chores on your time without the kids. That's ultimately for us. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. I see you doing that. So that was my acknowledgement, letting her know, hey, I come in peace. And then I said, the way I approached that conversation with you was irresponsible. It definitely didn't come from a loving place. And I'll take ownership of that. I'm sorry that I approached it that way and that I picked a bad time to try and have that conversation with you. I could have approached that better and at a different time. I'd still like to have a conversation about this, but I wanted to let you know that I'm sorry. And because I decided to go first in that moment, it made it inviting for her to step back in with me. Now, even as I record this video, we haven't resolved it all yet, but I know that that's going to open the door for us to have a conversation again. Now, it's one of the hardest things that we do in relationship is be willing to go first. But when there's two people in a relationship, at least half the time you have to be willing to be the one to go first. My belief is that in a relationship, we should take turns going first, because when we're in our ego and charged up, we're not accessing connection and love. So there's always an opportunity for me to be the one to go first, to step in and say, hey, wave the white flag. I'm sorry. I fill in the blank, whatever you're taking accountability for, responsibility for. And then saying, hey, can we have this conversation again? Can we try again? Being the one willing to go first. That's how you break the stalemate. Humbling yourself, taking ownership and responsibility for where you misstepped, for what you could have done better in that situation or scenario. Remember, it's got to be authentic. You can't just make up some BS because they're gonna sense that. It's not just about making peace. It's about recreating a space where love and connection can happen, where that becomes possible. So, wave the white flag. Say, hey, I recognize that I didn't handle this part of that breakdown well. Can we have a conversation again? And then be committed to that space, because in some cases, they're still going to be charged up. They may want to throw a few arrows at you just to make sure that it's really safe. And you don't have to let yourself get hit by the arrows, but maintain that commitment to peace and tranquility and connection and love again. And eventually the defenses soften, because we all ultimately, at the end of the day, we want love and connection. So where can you be doing that in your relationship? The very next time you have a breakdown, maybe you're in one right now and this video is coming to you at the perfect time. Put your ego down, wave the white flag, humble yourself, and take responsibility for your part in the disagreement, in the breakdown. And then be the space for love and connection to happen again. Try it out. I promise you it works. It builds trust. It rebuilds connection. You'll be stronger coming on the other side of it. Conflict is necessary in relationship. If you never fight or have a disagreement in your relationship, you're just ignoring talking about the stuff that's challenging. It's going to happen. So when conflict arises, this is a move that can help you break that stalemate and get back on track with your partner. So share this up with someone else who needs to hear it. Share it with your partner, for crying out loud, because like I said, it's a two-person game. It takes two to tango. So share it with your partner, share it with another man who's struggling in his relationship, and make sure that if you love what you're watching here, if you're digging what we're putting down, subscribe to this channel and keep sharing this message so we can get that rising man word out to more men. All right, y'all. Blessings, much love. I'll see you next Monday.